Andy No. He is an expert on all things Antifa. He is the editor-at-large at Post Millennial and the author of the upcoming Unmasked: Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. Welcome to Newsmax, Andy. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. You have a long experience with Antifa. You were actually attacked by Antifa. You got into a huge skirmish, at least. We have footage of this in Portland, Oregon a while back. Tell us a little bit about what happened then.
It was about a year ago. I was working in my capacity as an independent journalist, just recording a public demonstration. And then suddenly I was attacked on the head viciously by a mob of people. It resulted in me having a brain hemorrhage. It became a big story. And unfortunately, there hasn't been anybody arrested by the Portland police. And I'm suing Rose City Antifa.
So, you know these guys pretty well. You've studied them. You have an upcoming book. Should we be concerned about them? I've heard different things, that they're very sophisticated and they know what they're doing and they're very skilled. And then I hear, no, anarchists are by definition not very sophisticated and they're not very well organized. Are they a potent force or not, in your opinion?
Well, they're not supposed to be a potent force against the U.S., which has the military. However, you see them being a potent force in Democrat-run cities where politicians are weak and afraid of stopping far-left extremism. So what we have now in Seattle, for example, hundreds, actually thousands of people who have occupied a 6-block zone in the middle of a major American city, claiming it as their own territory, and have actually set up barricades and border checkpoints. So the only way you can go through is enter the space is through one of these barricades, and many of them are on guard 24/7. So they are potent, but it's isolated to specific areas, and they're potent when politicians willingly choose to make their law enforcement weak, for example.
It's wild that they're setting up guards and they have these patrols, and we've seen video and they're pretty brutal. They say they're anti-fascist, but quite frankly, their techniques and tactics look pretty fascist to me at times. How much support? You mentioned Democratic politicians, but, you know, the hometown crowd up there, Pacific Northwest, how much popular support do they have from, you know, regular people?
They do have popular support, unfortunately, and this has been a long time in the making, the whole mainstreaming of left-wing radicalism. I mean, it's not controversial now to call for abolishing police, for example. The anti-police sentiment is so mainstream that you see that it adopted by 1/2 of the political parties in the United States. So that's telling us something. Yesterday, the mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin, actually described what was happening in her own city as comparable to any bloc party. But bloc parties don't have border checkpoints and armed security and messages sprawled all around the area calling for police to be killed. And they also are passing out literature on how to lead insurrections and giving instructions on how to do reconnaissance and surveilling of buildings and how to lock doors. So this is extreme stuff. And unfortunately, there's a lot of liberal media who are just describing it as some type of peaceful bloc party.
Well, you know who doesn't buy it? The president. Take a look at this. President Trump from earlier this week.
We're not going to let Seattle be occupied by anarchists. And I'm not calling them protesters. I'm not going to say, no, but I got to see a performance that I've never seen before. I mean, you think he was a weak person in Minneapolis? The woman, I don't know, has she ever done this before?
We are frustrated. The president is frustrated as we look at this thing, and it seems very well tolerated. By the way, Antifa types, they really don't like this president. His presence seems to be really firing them up.
Yeah, so I'm glad the president's speaking up about this, because for the first 48 hours, most of the country didn't even know what was happening in the Pacific Northwest in a major American city. I keep emphasizing that because this is not some small town that this is happening. I think the impossible position that the law enforcement are in is that if they respond and try to retake the police precinct that was abandoned in this area, there are so many people there who are radicalized and willing and able to attack police that if they respond with any crowd control, less lethal options, for example, that video footage will be used as propaganda to make the public even more sympathetic to this extremist cause.
Yeah.
So,
Andy, we're going to leave it there. And by the way, we're purposely not telling you where Andy is because Antifa knows this guy. They don't like this guy. And I think it's safe to say they'd like to do harm to you. So, Andy, stay safe. And we look forward to the book, Unmasked Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Take care now.